Hello everyone and welcome to Weekend Reflections with Tsungi. Always wonderful to have you with us. I do hope your week has been great so far. Now I just want to start off by saying that every single person has a story to tell. Everybody, yes, each one of you has a story to tell. You just have to be brave enough to tell it. And today we have one such lady, and this is actually a very intriguing story. You need to watch till the end to make sure that you hear what it's all about. Let me welcome our guest. Welcome, Audrey, to our show.
Thank you, Tsungi, for having me.
It's such a pleasure and an honor. I've been wanting to talk to this lady for so long.
Thank you so much.
Please, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay, so I'm all things arts. I'm an author, I'm a publisher, and even from a young age, I was in the choir, I was in the drama club, all things arts. And then I'm a Christian. I also serve in the house. I've served in different facets. I also work in the corporate space, and I've done like sales, marketing, and I'm currently in procurement. And I'm a mom to 3 beautiful girls, and I'm divorced. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful introduction. You've always been arty, I can see that.
Yes, I mean, that's why I was saying great minds think alike. You know, we've got all these artistic tendencies.
We do. And you see them and other people can pick them. So anyway, Audrey, we want to hear your testimony, what God has been doing in your life. And I know you want to tell us right from where it all began, how you were brought up and so forth. So please go ahead. We can't wait.
Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to thank my parents, my mom and my dad. They were all academics, so to speak. But then my dad was a book lover. He was an avid reader. So I always joke about how we had more books than clothes. Is that even possible?
I've never even heard of that.
Well, we had that because we had a bookshelf and it was always books. And so I grew up in Avondale West. That's where I went to school. But I think grade 1, I did it at Chirenje School. That's in the rural area in Chihuahua.
Chirenje School, that's the same as... Okay,
yes, so same as my surname. There's a whole Chirenje School there. Very famous, and even my uncle is the sabu, like right
Really?
now. Yes, so we come from that. Then fast forward, I went to boarding school from grade 6 to upper 6 at Wadilaf High School.
That's in
Marondera.
Marondera, yes.
In Marondera.
Yes.
And do you know what? I actually wanted to do mass comm, which is your equivalent of a media degree right now.
Okay.
But then my dad was like, no ways. So I had to do something.
Why?
I think back in the day, you remember that, working for the media, there were certain connotations placed on that. Yes. But for me, even at that age, I was very clear that I wanted to be behind the scenes because in front of the camera was never my thing. But when God places you in certain places, you find yourself there. So I ended up doing marketing.
Okay.
And then that's how my career began in marketing.
Oh, okay. So we're very curious to know, how you got into writing. Where did it all begin? Because I know that's a massive part of your life and of your life testimony.
Yes. So, yes, back in the day at school, I always used to ace English subjects, Even at Avondale Primary School, I remember, you'd be in a class. Back then, we had whites in the class, but then I would get the English prize. So imagine,
Really?
Yes, I have certificates with where I got the English prize for the year. And I remember we had a headmaster, Mr. Berman, a couple of teachers, Mrs. Rawson, Mrs. Vanderbilt.
You remember the names?
I do. I once met Mrs. Vanderbilt, my grade 4 teacher, one day. And she remembered me and I remembered her.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So even when I went to high school, English is the subject I could just do without even putting more effort. So that was always in the background. But then how I then started writing was I went through a life-changing moment. In life, you think you've got your ducks in a row, but then 1 or 2 or 3 of them, they just wander off.
And then you end up with just 1 or 2 ducks.
Yes. So I was trying to grapple with what had happened to me. Then I remember that Pastor Bonnie said, we must journal, Back then, she had that pink journal that they were selling. Yes. So that's the journal that I actually started writing in. And initially, it was, from a place of hurt. You're angry, you're trying to understand. And it was even brutal. But then along the way, So yeah, let me put this in the story. And then we found ourselves staying, we then moved after the life-changing story, and we didn't have a TV for like 2 years. So during that time, I used to read a lot, me and my kids. So we'd read, those PDF books on the phone.
Yes.
And there were a lot of South African books, a couple of Zim books and all that. But then the stories, I would read and I would always critique them, So it was either they're to this or they're to this. And then, so I then, paused one day. I'm like, but I can actually write a book which is positive, fiction, but which is positive. And so that's how I started my first book. My first book is titled Life Will Humble You.
Life Will Humble You.
Life Will Humble You, because according to me, life had indeed.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like something coming from the heart, something that you had experienced.
Definitely. Yeah. Life had humbled me. And I decided to draw the positives from that.
Well done.
And put it in a story. It's fiction, obviously. I write Christian fiction. That's my genre.
I like that.
With a bit of an edge, yes. But you'll find that it's very modern, contemporary. But I'll put a verse in there. I'll put in, I love music. You'll find a few lyrics here and there. So that's how I wrote my first book.
And tell us a little bit about your book. I know it's fiction, just a little bit, since it's your first one, just a bit of the storyline in brief.
Okay, so...
and is it one of the books you brought?
I don't have that one. It's okay. I don't have that one.
We'll have a look at the other ones later.
Yes. So in this book, you've got Rhonda. She's been left by her former husband because she couldn't conceive. Yeah, in our society, if a woman can't conceive. In fact, let me put it like this. If a couple can't conceive, the blame is put on the woman, right? And then, so in this case, she was thrown out. Your typical case, husbands find someone younger, someone more beautiful, and she's broke, she's depressed, she's on the edge, and she's got nothing going on for her except her faith, which has been shaken, obviously. And along the way, she then meets Rico, and people always ask me, how did you come up with this name? And guess what? My last born, Anika, she's called Anika Arikweishe. So I just Ariko Ishe, there's a God. So I just added a V to my character because he's called Varikweishe. And then the nickname, the shortcut is Rico. That's so Rico is he's a pastor's son, yeah? But he's got dreadlocks. So me, I always try and question, society. People will look at you and judge.
The norms, yeah.
The norms.
Yeah.
So this guy, he's your typical cheese boy, went to a private school, sports dreadlocks, hangs around all these places. But guess what? He's actually a pastor's son. He prays. He knows the Bible.
Loves the Lord.
He loves he's got a personal relationship with God. He's made mistakes.
Yeah.
Because all of my books, if you read them, the people are not perfect.
I like that.
That
is reality.
They have issues, they have flaws. But by the time we get to the end of the book, I like to put this faith ever after concept.
Oh, faith ever after.
Faith. In Disney, you've got they lived happily ever after. I've got the faith ever after, whereby I just want to try and tell people that, with God, it's not going to be perfect. Even the Bible is clear about that.
Yes,
there will be trouble.
It is.
There will be trouble. But if you hold on to your faith, God will use the things that you'd never imagined of, and he will put that as part of your story.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing. And how was the reception to your book?
So funny enough, you write a book, obviously I was scared and I didn't know what to do with it. And I reached out to someone on Twitter. I was so happy that one day he shared his testimony. His name is Jonathan Kadura. I'll just put it out there.
I know him.
You do?
He's been here on this platform before.
You see now. So I reached out to 3 people on Twitter. All 3 of them are authors.
Okay.
But all of them responded. I won't say their names and what they said, but Jonathan, he was like, oh, that's amazing. Gave me the name of the printer, publisher, everything.
All the help that you needed.
All the help. Okay. He was like a godsend. And from there, that's how I met my publisher, Philip Chidavayenzi.
I also know him.
Of Royalty Books. And he's the one who published my first 2 books.
Okay.
Yes. And so when he read the story, obviously, Mr. Phil was like, your book is good, but your diction, because like I said, I'm modern. I'm a marketer, so I'm always like on the streets. So I'll know the modern lingo, which I put in the book. He said it's too contemporary.
It's too contemporary.
Yes. So I was like, but this is what I want. I'm not Chimamanda who writes British English. This is how I write because this is the life that I live.
It's like a blend of what what you experienced.
Exactly. So with that, he panel beated the book. Thank you, Mr. Phil. And it came out to be
the first one?
The first one, yes. And then so he published the book. And then when we put it out there, this was the amazing part for me. I had people, I remember those days, I wasn't on social media. I was social media shy, by the way.
Which years are we talking about, Audrey, here? Like roughly?
2019 is when I...
Pre-COVID. Okay.
Yeah, pre-COVID. That's when I put my book out there.
Oh, your first book was in 2019?
2019.
And I'm thinking ages ago.
2019
okay,
was my...
7 years ago?
7 years ago, yes. This year I should be celebrating my 7 years in this literary journey.
Wow.
Yes. So the testimonies came from Twitter. You get someone saying, you know what, I read your book and I cried. It's like, what? And I remember after I had my book, I went to my pastors then, Pastor Simba and Pastor Ivy. Before that, there was Pastor Simba, Pastor Stanley and Pastor Natai, who also walked with me. And I told them I'd done this book. And they were so happy. And they were like, you know what? We're going to celebrate you. Because, you know, you're scared putting yourself out there. And I remember Pastor Ivy saying to me, you know what, Audrey, this is your new voice. Because I'd been serving in other functions. Then I was at the Waterfalls Church.
Okay.
And they were like, this is it. Own it. And I remember Pastor Simba even praying for me. He says, you know what, this is now your ministry. You're going to minister to people through this. People will come to you who've had more or less the same issues as the people. And that's what happened.
And that's what happened?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that's how it happened.
So that's how it happened. And so I was going to ask that, how did it kind of affect your working life? Were you doing this part-time or... was this a full-time thing? Just explain about that a bit.
I've always been doing work and some hustle on the side.
On the side.
Yes. So, and I remember I'm so grateful to my former boss then. I also went and told them, because, you know, like from the house we come from, a church, we're advised to just be honest with what you're doing. So I went and I told them I've written this book. And I remember my boss, he was so happy for me. He's like, oh, wow.
You know, that is so unusual, Audrey, because it doesn't always happen. So he was happy. He
was happy. Wow. And he even encouraged me. And so I would have an interview at ZFM, you know, like they'll phone and say, we want you at 11. That's during working hours. Yeah. And I would actually tell him that, boss, I'm just going to dash to ZFM for 2 to 3 hours. I'll be back. And he'll be like, it's okay.
That's great. And he understood also because you had been honest.
I had been honest. And then I later went on to launch the book. And very supportive. Even my current bosses right now, very supportive, to the extent I remember we once went for a meeting and my boss is introducing me to say, oh, this is the person who'll be handling the account. Oh, she's also a writer, you know, she's got 7 books. I'm like, wow.
I like that, you know, where they recognize that there's so much in you, so much more than just you working. Because it doesn't always happen. Some would actually rather suppress it or not mention anything. I think really wonderful.
Yeah, I've just been blessed. My 2 bosses, the 2 companies, they actually support whatever you do as a person. So even like in my current job, we've got these branches. They'll actually say, you're the one who does the public speaking. You'll be the MC for the day. And I just do it. Yeah.
And it's more experience for you.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So tell us a bit more about, I know you want to talk a little bit about your work, even if you don't necessarily mention the company, it's up to you. You wanted to tell us about that. We're going to go back to your books, but tell us about that.
So, yes.
And you said you were a marketer. You did marketing.
I did marketing. And so I started off in the sales and marketing field, and then I transcended into procurement. Okay. So now I'm in procurement, but it's more of, people are always like, but you're always advertising your company stuff. I'm like, no.
Yes, I've noticed on WhatsApp.
Yes. So it's because you buy the things, right? You buy the stock for the branches and you have to sell it. The transaction is complete when the stock is out of the branch. Yeah, yeah. Then you would have done your job. So I also help with the marketing of that. But there's actually a proper marketing department and I'm not in that.
Oh, you're not in the marketing. You're in procurement.
Procurement,
yeah,
yes.
That's different. But you've got that's just that marketing edge.
Obviously, it's what I started and it's what I used to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you travel a lot, I know.
I travel a lot. Right now, I'm a regional buyer, and like our region has 50 branches. So I'm all over, rural, Mutoko, wherever. Yeah, I'm Zarabani, you'll find me there. So I do travel a lot. And I think also, I heard someone saying when they travel, you know, when you get in touch with nature, I remember the first time I went to Vumba. Mm-hmm. I was saying to someone, you know, you just see the hand of God and Absolutely. You just can't help but want to actually break out in prayer and appreciate the work of God.
That is so true what you're saying. There's actually a scripture that talks about how mankind is without excuse because nature testifies at his existence. I mean, who do you think made all this? So what you're saying, it's actually true. It's amazing. And I found we actually had to do a lot of that during COVID because you had to stay at home.
Yeah.
You had to walk in the garden.
Yeah, so it's amazing that so like I'll be, as a creative, I'm sure you're an author, you've done this. Inspiration can come from anything and from anywhere.
That's what I was going to ask you. What inspires you? Yeah, please carry on.
But I always say, only if you choose to see it. It's just like with God. God can speak to you in a specific way. Only if you choose to see it and acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Or in other words, some will say, if only you're quiet enough. Because sometimes, we want God to speak and you want a burning bush Moses moment.
Lightning or something.
But he will speak in a still small voice, but he's still speaking. So my inspiration, it comes from that. But I think I'll also mention that I do question some of the things, some of the society expectations, some of the society practices that we perpetuate. Like I'll tell you in this book, it's called My Mother, My Hope.
My Mother, My Hope. Okay, we're going to put all these at the end, everyone, so you will get a chance to be able to connect with her and her books. It's called My Mother, My Hope.
Yeah, so this one, it's about a 13-year-old and it's set in the rural area. Because as from the first book, you sort of grow and evolve and you try other subjects. So I never written for something for the rural area. But this one, it's set in the rural area. It's a 13-year-old. I wrote it for the preteen, young adult genre. That's where I was trying to address some of the issues.
It's a very delicate age.
That they go through. And in this book, I even talk about things like, things that this generation goes through, like your menstruation. Like in this case, her mom dies from a strange illness. And then she's left with the father who's in a polygamous marriage. I think there were three other wives.
3 other wives.
Yeah. And also I was trying to talk about how, as a society, people always assume that stepmothers are not nice. Yeah. But in this case, there's one particular stepmother who actually sort of adopts her. Because initially they left her in her mother's hut. They set up kumusha, that there's the main bedroom and then there are these round huts. Yeah. But this other stepmother actually adopts her and she brings her in with the other kids. So when they're eating, she'll call her. And so I was just I'd throw in this different but somehow controversial subjects. Yes. And because I write fiction, I can always sneak it into my characters, yeah? And there's a disclaimer, of course, with fiction.
Yeah, to say that if there's anything that is similar to real life activities or scenarios, it's purely coincidental.
100%.
But having said that, now I'm asking author to author. Having said that, what do you think about this? I've always thought about this, that if you're an artist, whether you're an author or a painter or a sculptor, your own life, no matter what anyone says, as an artist, it will definitely impact on what you write. There will be a bit of you somewhere.
Obviously.
Because that's the difference with science. It will definitely have some of you, even if it's not the whole thing. But there will be here and there to my fingerprints.
I totally agree. So, like in my first book, if you look at the character, because then it was my first one, I had to give her what I know. You know how when you're doing your characterization, you have to give her a career. Yeah. So I gave her a marketing career, obviously, but it was for an advertising agency. And then I had to look up what an advertising agency does. And then, there will be nuances of you and of your life in there. I love music. So most of my books will have a bit of music in them. Yes.
You may even have people asking you, I don't know about your first book, was that book about you? You put it's fiction, but some people might even be tempted to ask that. Was that book about you? Did you ever have anyone ask that? I know I did.
I got that, but my first book, it's 5 to 10% influenced by what happened to me, but it's so much fiction, and
you can't tell which part is her now.
You can't tell, but I had to do this, and I remember. Let me tell you a funny one. I need to give credit to this amazing lady, my sister-in-law. So I was so scared, like I said, to put my name out there. So I'd put a pseudonym.
Okay,
and she's like, no, I said no.
Pseudonym as the author.
Yes. I didn't want to put my real name on the book because I was scared.
You were scared.
I
somehow
was.
You didn't know the reception of the book.
Putting yourself out there is hard.
It is scary.
It is scary. And also, I know, like, I'm an introvert. I know we don't, subscribe to those names. But generally, I'm an introvert. I like to hide. I'm that kind of person who walks into a party, into a room. Naturally, I'd want to sit at the back and just hide. But because I ended up in marketing, yes, I can actually go in network and strike up a conversation. But my social battery will actually run down. I'm always laughing. I'm like, my battery is finished now. And then I just want to shut down and I don't want to talk.
Have your me time.
Yes, and I need to reboot the battery, So yes, I wanted to put a pseudonym, but then my sister-in-law was like, no, you need to put your name out there so that you can inspire other people who actually know you. Yeah. They can actually say, if Audrey did this, so I can do it. My story might not even be as bad as her, but if she did it and now she's doing it, I can also do it. So I ended up putting up my name.
What do you think looking back? I think that was a good idea.
It was godsend. In fact, this sister-in-law of mine, her name's Liz. Liz, thank you so much. She's been, she's part of my testimony, her and my brother. Mm-hmm. Part of my testimony, they're there for me because like now my dad is late. My brother literally, just stepped into that role. Even my other book, the first children's book, I put it in English. And because he works in the NGO field, he actually said, no, why don't you put it in Shona and Ndebele? And now he even said, put it in French so that you can sell it in other markets. And I followed his advice. So they're very involved in my life, in my children's life, and I'm very grateful to them.
Those are destiny helpers that God sends along the way. And I'm just thinking now, if you had used another name, you might have had to continue using that name. Or unless you were going to say, no, actually, guys, that's not that. It's Naomi. It was just going to cause confusion. Or you'd have had to maintain that name. So thank goodness you used Audrey.
Yes, thank God. God sent her to speak to me. Yes, destiny helper, like you say.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we want to hear your writing journey because I know you've written, I don't know, is it 11?
They are now 11.
And I feel like a dwarf. I've written 3. So tell us about your writing journey and a bit about your books. Feel free to showcase as you talk.
Okay.
But yeah.
So,
love to hear and to inspire other people who also want to write.
So the number then becomes like it's a lot, but because like the first children's book, I put it in Shona and Ndebele, but it's obviously a new book. Yeah. And I had help. Like I've got a cousin, Rutendo. She's my cousin sister. Audrey Chirenje, but then she grew up in Bulawayo, so she can speak Ndebele, and she now teaches in that region. So she's the one who put the book in Ndebele. And then her husband worked on the Shona one. Oh, nice. And then I just looked at it. So that's, so this one is called Chances. Chances is my second book, which I wrote after Life Will Humble You. And that's the name of my publishing.
That's what I'm thinking now.
Company.
That's the name of your she's got a publishing company as well, guys. So take note, for those of you who want to publish books, you can contact her.
So it's called Chances Inspiration Incorporated. That's the name of the company. And why people always ask me why that name. So like in this book, Chances, you've got Vakaropa Fadzwa. I love my characters of Shona names, yeah? They'll have Shona names and English names. Nice. So her name is Vakaropa Fadzwa and I call her Ropa. She's gone through so much. And it's set in Canada.
Ah, yeah. So you had to do some research, or have you lived there?
I was on Google. I haven't lived there, I receive. Yes, if you see me living there, I receive.
You never know.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but I just the storyline is so crazy. I had to set it out of the country. But she's your typical fire pit, someone who's just vivacious, lives on the edge. She has gone through so much. She would have gone through a stillborn, lost a baby, and then she couldn't deal with the stress of that. So she just sort of spirals. But I made a story so beautiful, and it's part of, it's in Life Will Humble You, the first book, you will see her there. Because the way I'm writing, my dream is to put these books into a series. Okay. So book 1 will be that one. And then, so in book 1, you will see traces of the next character in the next book.
Really?
And then they're all interlinked.
I've never actually met anyone who's done that. I know it's done, but I haven't met anyone. That's actually interesting. It makes me think that one day it could even be a TV series.
We should, now that I know you, I think me and you should work on this. Yes. So there's that one. And then I did Appearances or Not.
I love your book covers. They're all just so Wow.
And from there you can see appearances or not. Like I said, I try and go there. So I'm this one in this book. I'm
just see that
talking.
this person is creative.
I'm talking to the chick. She's your upmarket chick.
Yeah, I can see that.
But then she meets a guy from the ghetto, Kujecha, Glenora. So it's from the Grange, Grange and Glenora.
The Grange and Glenora?
Yes.
The two G's?
The two G's. So I'm trying
and
to...
she falls in love or what?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, because love knows no barriers.
It has no barriers, but then there are challenges along the way. So that's why I said my characters are real, the life stories are real. Because yes, you meet this reality. You go to the, private school function and they'll be talking about these things you don't know anything about. And then you want to fit in. So that's where the challenge will come.
So it makes me think, Audrey, even before we finish that, people just have to start from book one. Because you're saying it's not, or can you start any book?
You can start
any book, but it would be great if you could follow the characters.
It would be great. But this one, appearance is actually detached from the series.
Okay, that one sort of comes out
It's
a bit.
detached because I was trying something else. Okay. So that one is detached. The one that's then connected is guilt. Guilt.
And this just looks like blood to me.
Yes, there's blood.
But there's a rose as well.
And I someone said, Audrey, a murderer. Because then you know how you can kill a character. Yes, I had to kill a character in this book. Yes, I had to. For me, it was even painful.
But you decided to for some reason.
I had to because I was trying to bring in another element. So in this book, essentially the guilt, I'm talking about, like I was telling you, I go through things because it can take you a year or two to actually then write a book.
I know.
I scribble a lot. I doodle a lot. I do voice notes. I can be driving and see something that can inspire me.
Then you have to.
I'll write it down or I'll do a voice note. And then because I'm a very structured person, so I'll do the proper outlining. I'll have a chapter and I'll have a heading. And I'll know that I'm going to talk about this subject. But then through the stories, I'll talk about that subject. So in this book, I spoke about every one of us has a bit of guilt in them. You could be guilty that you spilled the water and then you didn't mop it up.
Yeah.
That's your something small. Then there's the big ones. I even talk about, like I said, I dabble on a lot of things. I even talk about, the hongozi concept in our culture, whereby, someone kills someone and then they want to appease the spirits, and so I put it there. And then there's also the guilt. Can be the guilt of a parent. It can be the guilt of a mother, of a generation. You're guilty about what the previous generation did, things like that. I talk about this one. We go a bit into Botswana. Yeah. Yes, the character goes into Botswana.
So research or firsthand?
I've been to Botswana,
so you sort of had an idea.
I've been to a bit. In the first book, I wrote about Kenya. I haven't been to Kenya, but my dad once worked in Kenya for a season. So I think that's why, just growing up, he worked in Malawi, worked in Botswana a bit, worked in Kenya. So I was exposed to that. So I haven't been to Kenya. I will go.
You will go.
One day.
Yes.
I also talked about, topical subjects like cross-border trading and prostitution, cross-tracker prostitution. You see it there.
Yeah. Because real issues.
At some point she's looking for a lift, and now, she comes across these truck drivers. But guess what? Because I'm a child of God, I always have to put God in there.
Yes, absolutely.
She comes through one father, a very decent father who looks at her and says, I've got a daughter your age that I left home, my child. So he turns out to be her angel for that day.
Oh, wow.
And he gives a lift. She doesn't have to pay for anything. And he even takes her contacts and later on actually tracks her down. Yeah, so things like that.
Sounds very interesting. Oh my gosh, I've got to read all these.
Yes.
I've got my work cut out for me for this year.
And then
I've been trying to improve, to increase the number of books I read. So now, sorted.
Yes. And then, so this one was the children's one that I was talking about, that I put in Debele. And then, because, like I said, we're artists, Tungi, we evolve and we're allowed to evolve. I took a dash at poetry. This is a poetry anthology.
Oh, nice. So you deviated a bit from Christian fiction.
Yeah, but
that's lovely.
Yes. So this is poetry, but of course you'll find, so my key verse for this poetry anthology was, 1 Corinthians 13, Verse, I think,
chapter.
love is kind, love is patience, it does not keep record of wrong. So that's what you see, it's called This Vision of Love.
Oh, wow.
So why I wrote this book was, like I said, I talked to a lot of people. I used to do book reviews, by the way, on...
Yes, I remember seeing that somewhere.
Oh, I didn't mention that.
Tell us about it.
On ZTN. So ZTN Prime, thank them so much, gave me an opportunity to do book reviews for 3 years.
Wow.
It ended last year in December. But
That's DSTV, is it?
Yes, it was on DSTV, channel 294. And you know, our pastor talks about connection. Do you know how I even got to know about them? Pastor Imelda went for an interview at ZTN. Then she was asked to say, who else can we interview? Then she says, I know this one.
Oh.
And then so I went for my interview. Then thereafter, I think it was Candice who did my interview. Thereafter, they sent me a message to say, okay, we went through your profile and you're always at book events. Do you mind doing book reviews? I'm like, yeah, why not? Because I know a lot of, now that I'm in the field, I know a lot of book people. So that's how I did it. So it was for 3 years. So I met a lot of people. I read a lot of books because it was every Tuesday, every week.
You had to make sure you've read the book and you put your points down.
Yes.
To plus or minus improve or critique, whatever.
Well, so for me, because I was trying to celebrate local literature.
So you'd highlight the good.
I would highlight the good. And then you find that we have a lot of people in the US, in the UK also writing. Yeah, I'll contact,
Zimbabweans.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd always make a plan. She's in the US, go and collect my book. There I go. I review, you know, with the digital world.
Or PDF or something.
Yes. And then, so for us, the objective of that show was to celebrate local literature.
That's good.
And then we'll make sure we mention where the book is sold, because we want people to buy books. Because
local content, not just,
local, you rightly said it, and we want to celebrate them. So that's what we'll do. We'll put their social media handles at the end of the show, the prize. So I used to do the show with Marisa. I think you know Marisa. She used to be in the choir.
She used to be in the choir.
Andy Hodges back then.
Yes, I remember him. Like he does MCing and stuff.
Yes, Candice Mwakalele. And Mr. Titch, he does a bit of sports with Star FM, but I would also do the book reviews.
Okay.
It was an amazing, and grateful to the ZTN platform because they just took me as one of their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's why I was saying the poetry. I see there are a lot of broken people out there in terms of love, relationships. Even in terms of a person, you know, you could have done so much. You know, the prodigal son, he did whatever he did. But then the father welcomed him back home. Yeah. They killed the fattened calf for him. And you can imagine the other brother who stayed might have been, but why are they giving him this chance? But I think everyone deserves another chance, even the chances. So this version of love, it can be this version of you. Tsungi, I mean, I look at your journey corporate-wise, author-wise. You used to do this from pharmaceuticals to this, to supply chain, to TV, you know.
What a journey.
Yeah. But there's so many versions of you.
Yes, there is.
You know, so that's what I was just trying to say. Look, you could have gone through whatever, but then there's a version you can actually choose to say, I now want to be this vision. And then you learn. It's not going to be perfect. You might fall here and there, but you just stay on it. So
I love that concept because I think, generally speaking, well, some people put people in boxes. So they're like, no, you are this. That's what you're supposed to be. And you know what they say, if you don't define yourself, other people will define you.
100%, they will. So yeah, this one I spoke about it. This one's a good book. Okay. I'm going to leave you with this one. You need to read it.
Thank you.
And then the first book, That Life Will Humble One, I put it in Shona.
Oh, really?
So that's why the number seems, yes, Upenyu Unokunini Pisa.
Wow.
Because
and the cover's the same. It's different.
It's I played around with it a bit.
That's amazing.
But same concept. And some of my writing, let me actually confess. I think, as they say, a righteous man, his steps are ordered by God. So like I did my first book. First, second, third, that was all me. Just, you know. But the fourth one, I remember I went to a bookstore looking for books for my daughter, who's now upper six, was in primary school. So she needed some novels to read for school. And there were no novels for that age by local artists. You see, it was just your Harry Potter, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And then the person in the bookstore said, but you're an author. Why don't you write children's literature? I'm like, really? You think I can? And they're like, why not? Isn't you an author? You write fiction. You can do it. So that's how I wrote.
The seed was sown.
Yes.
Wow.
That's how the seed was sown. And I wrote my first one. And I wrote the teen one. And then the one that I didn't bring, Day in the Park. It also came from, because the first children's novel is for like 7 to 12 years old. That was the age range. Then I remember someone in where I stay, they've got a preschool. They were like, ma'am, but how come you also don't have books for preschoolers?
And that also helped you to get into that.
That's how I wrote, because that book, Day in the Park, it's for your 0 to 6 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's that age group. And that's the book. It's my 10th book. This is a testimony, people. It's my 10th book.
Wow.
And that's the book that was nominated for a NAMA.
Oh, wow.
The 10th one.
The 10th one.
That's the book that got a Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award in Sweden. Nominated 2025 and also 2026.
Oh, wow.
That book.
Yeah.
And it's not even big. It's like, I don't know, 24 pages. It's for preschoolers.
Wow.
But that's the book that is, for me, I think that's the book that has done the most.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then lastly, I just want to talk about, so what we've also done. So this is an anthology.
Fullness of time.
Yes, you can look at the contributors. We've got, you can read some of the names.
Anesu Matavire, Anesu Muzunze, Yvonne Musirinofa, Yvonne Dove, yourself, okay, Wilfred Mahotok, and several others. You get to see all this towards the end.
So why did I do this? So remember, you're out there, you'll be busy doing whatever you're doing. And then a mother will come to you and say, my daughter is 14 years old. She writes, but I don't have money to pay for the publishing services.
Okay.
How can you help her? So initially, I didn't know how to help them. Then I saw other people. Her name is Sympathy. She does an anthology every year, but she does it with women.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, why don't I just bring people together to also then come up with an anthology? So an anthology, it's a compilation. This one is about poems. We've done 2 for poems under Chances Inc. And then we've done 2 for short stories. So you're bringing people together. I think this one we had 13 people coming together, and they would write 5 poems each. Okay. And then we put them in a book. So some of them paid for themselves, but some of them couldn't. And we just worked it out ultimately.
Some will cover the others.
Yes, exactly. And we came up with this. We had a proper book launch. We wanted other people to actually experience what it feels like. And I remember one of the people here, he's now in the US, you know.
Oh, wow.
And he's always, when he shares his story, he's always like, oh, ma'am, they call me Mom Audrey. My daughters are always saying, yeah, you've got so many sons out there and so many other kids. So yeah, that's the whole anthology concept, whereby you're just putting people together. Some are even just scared to do it on their own.
Yeah,
like
they don't have the confidence to stand alone.
They don't. We've got Patience Musa, very famous.
Patience Musa,
ZFM,
yes.
Yeah,
what's the
she's in our, she's in the short story anthology.
Really? Oh, so she wrote a story?
She writes. You know, I told her when I read the story, I'm like, my goodness, you're Zimbabwe's version of J.K. Rowling. She writes and she puts this mystery, fictitious world, and there's a bit of Christianity in it. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow. And I'm sure a lot of people don't even know she writes. You know her more as like a radio presenter.
Yes, yes. So now she works for Bank and BC as well as a communications manager. So I know I'm always pushing her. I'm still pushing her to put her own novel out there. She's that good.
Oh wow.
But that's what happened. That's what happened in the anthology. So that's what we've been doing. I've put a stop to them. We did the last one. Yes, they're so time consuming. You're dealing with 13 different people.
Trying to put everything together.
Different time schedules. Some are, like I remember the last one, we've got Lynn, she's in the UK. The other guy was in South Africa. It's difficult.
You probably need to employ someone full-time to do that under your publishing house.
That's what I'll need to do for me to.
And then they can do that. But
they can do that work.
Yeah.
For me, I found it very difficult. And you have to, you want, because you put their pictures inside, like you can see. Let me show you.
The picture of the author.
Like this one. This one is called Justice Mufiri. Yeah. So he was still at university doing his journalism degree, but he's since graduated.
Oh, wow.
So you need his profile, you need his picture, you need his. It's a lot of work. But that's some of the things that I've done.
Congratulations. I hope this inspires people, because what I really like is that your journey started out of almost like a heartbreak. In fact, it was a heartbreak.
It was a heartbreak.
That life-changing thing. So it was allowed to happen by God, but somehow something beautiful came out of it, and you almost like found your purpose, or at least part of it. I know you do other things, which I'm going to touch on a bit later, but wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And all glory to God.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Because on my own I couldn't have done it. And even now I know people like, some people even think you have it so easy and all that, but it's been difficult. And even when I started, I remember things were really, really tight. And so you say you've got $100 in your hands, they are the kids, they need to eat, you need to buy clothes, you also need to pay the publisher. So I remember my first book, it took me, I think, 7 months just to pay the publisher. And bless him, because he allowed me to do that. I'll pay $30 here. Printing, my first print run was 10 books. That's all I could afford. Yeah. So it's difficult, but like you rightly say, the purpose, I found my purpose.
You found your purpose.
It was always there. I remember when I told my brother, he's like, but I'm not surprised. This was always your thing. And even my two uncles were very close to me, Uncle Jair and Uncle Stan. All of them were like, because now my dad is late, but they were like, Mkoma would have been so happy
I'm sure he would have been so
with this. And then let me mention this other thing. I've got an uncle who also wrote some books, history textbooks. So he wrote, I think he's got 8.
Oh.
Yeah, he's late again. His name is Jackson Mutero Chirenje.
Okay.
He wrote 8 history textbooks.
So you're a family of writers.
He used to be a lecturer at the UZ, and then he was a lecturer at Harvard.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why he actually died in the US.
Okay.
So even when I did the first book, because I was even scared to put it out there. Like I said, I wasn't even on social media. Yeah. So now people are like, you post a lot. People who knew me before, they were like, you're not posting a lot. I'm like, no, it's now part of the things that I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, they said, you've just taken Uncle Jack's,
you like replaced him kind of.
Yeah, I'm following in his,
footsteps.
Yeah, I come from, like I was saying, there's a whole Sabugo in my family. They're all greats. And I even have sisters, cousins. I remember some people will call me my sisters. I've got a very famous sister in the NGO world. And people...
Grace.
Yes, Grace is my sister.
No, because I was thinking, yes, I know her. Yeah, I know her. I don't know if she will remember me, but I've met her.
Yeah. So even like I can go to the doctor now, and the first question they'll be like, and the gynecologist, my coach, and I'm like, that's my uncle.
And now I know that name as well.
And now his son is also a doctor. And
so you've got a family of famous people, influencers.
I do.
Yeah.
And it's such a blessing to be part of that.
It is.
Yes.
Wow. Now, you mentioned some awards. Tell us a little bit about that. You mentioned Nama, and there's another one, a Swedish one, but I didn't quite get it. Just tell us a little bit about that in relation to your books.
Okay. So I'll just say this. It doesn't mean that if you don't get an award, you're not doing any good. And someone was saying, I'm not interested in awards. I don't need anyone to validate me. So it's not about validation. But what happens in the arts world is you build a portfolio, like yourself. From your first book, you build a portfolio. You've got a NAMA nomination. You add that to your portfolio. It sets you up to the next nomination. Like in my case, I had some awards that I actually won. There's a whole lot of them. And then I'm also a coach, yeah?
Yes, because I want to say, we're going to talk a little bit after you've talked about the books, about the other things that she does.
Well, I know some people call me coach, and I don't even identify myself with that. So I do have some awards that I actually won. And business, even my company chances some business.
I saw them on your website.
Some business
like
awards.
This, guys, there's a list like this. You'll see, we'll give you a website as well.
Oh, glory to God. Yeah. But it becomes part of your profile. So like I remember how I got to the Sweden nomination. Obviously, it came from the NAMA nomination, because NAMA is a national.
Yes.
So even any other out there, they'll want your profile.
The national, the Zimbabwean one, what's happening there?
Yes, what have you done? Yeah. And then there's the regional. I think there's one regional where I got as inspiring author.
Oh, wow.
Some Africa Identity Awards, I got that award. And then this one came about. I met Mr. Chirukure. Let me also mention his name and acknowledge him. Met him at some embassy function. And we just, we talk. And then he's like, he knew my uncle, that surname there. And he's like, okay, so you've got a NAMA nomination. Do you mind if I submit your name to these awards in
You
Sweden.
wouldn't mind?
I'm like, oh, thank you,
Would I
sir.
mind?
And then the next thing is like, yeah, you were nominated for 2025. And I didn't win, but
It
then
doesn't matter. The nomination's big enough, eh?
and then I was nominated again this year. And,
Well done.
And for me, I just give glory to God because it's for children's literature in Sweden, and it was started by Astrid Lindgren. So that's why it's named after her. And it's the highest in terms of, it comes with a monetary price.
Okay.
And it's the highest. Of course, it's in Swedish kroner, I don't know, but
it doesn't matter.
If you put it to US dollars, the figure is staggering. I won't even mention it.
Wow.
So yes, the final person will be, they'll put them on the website on the 14th of April. And I've got an amazing Zimbabwean author was nominated alongside.
Okay.
I'm sure you all know him. His name is Ignatius Mabasa. So even just my name next to him, I'm always telling him, sir, it's such an honor to have my name just alongside him.
It is.
And you know, what this industry has done, one thing I'll just say and put it out there is the industry, the people are so kind. They are so kind. You know, you just get connected to one, they will link you up to the next, to the next.
So there isn't too much gatekeeping like a lot of other industries. So that's really wonderful.
They're just
Trusting it.
Yeah, and when he launched his book last year, The Mad, I think he wrote it in Shona Mapenzi. Then he translated it to English. Now he put it in English, and it's called The Mad. He even invited me to be an MC at his event, and I'm like, but sir, this room is going to be filled with professors. You know, he's a professor.
Yeah. Oh, he's a professor.
Yeah, like he's a fund, he's doctor.
I'm not a professor.
You're Dr. Tsungi. So I'm like, but you know, sometimes you look at yourself and you think I'm not even worthy.
Yeah,
like that event, I was like, it's going to be full of these grades. And we were talking about TV. Come on, the name is going. This famous guy was written a lot. He was there. All these famous people were there. I'm like, but I can't be. It's like, Audrey, I want you to be the MC. So, you know, God just does this.
People who do that in life sometimes will just push you to be where you're supposed to be.
Yes. So I'm very grateful for all that has happened. And I just know it's God. And I always, every time, even every award I've won, my favorite singer is Janet Manyoa, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, I've loved her from day one. When she did Zazisai, I just fell in love with her. So she did the song called Ndi Jehovah. That's, for me, that is always my hashtag. After every award, I always put hashtag Ndi Jehovah. Because I'm very cognizant of the fact that on my own, you know me, I'll just be hiding somewhere in a corner.
It's got to be like, come here.
But God is the one who's just placed me in these rooms and these amazing connections.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations for your books and for all your nominations. I wanted to ask you if you faced any challenges, or what challenges you faced as a writer, before we move on to the other things that you do besides writing.
So for me, it's time. You know, I had to, and then I came across a word which actually says time poverty. So there's
I've heard of this.
There is such a thing, and it's real. So in my case, I've got a full-time job in a retail wholesale environment, which is very hectic, and I get to travel all over the country. I'm a single parent to 3 girls. My eldest, thank God, she's now graduated. She's now working. And then the second one is upper 6. And then the little one, I came with her. She's in grade 3. So these are the 2, they're grown. You know, they can do their own thing. But this little one, you know, you're trying to write. And yes, I explained, and she knows. She'll be like, Mommy, I need to talk to you.
And you have to make the time.
And I have to make the time. And then I also serve a church. So
which department do you serve?
I'm in the information.
Information, yes.
Yes.
You did
so I used to be in the choir.
You used to be in the choir?
Yes, when I was at the Waterfalls Church, I was in the choir.
You said something about liking music.
Yes, I was in the choir. Then I used to facilitate. I was in the Ladies Covenant Women.
You have the
and then I've done here at the center, I was in the children's department.
Oh, wow.
The 0 to 2 years. And then now I'm back in the information department, and I love it. So time is a problem for me. But then you just, you know, if you find something that you love, that you like, you actually just make time.
Burn the midnight oil.
You make time for it.
Do.
Then also resources, like I was saying, you know, you're always trying to juggle that money. You know, like printing in this country, you have to print and then give the bookstores to sell for you. Then they only pay you after they've sold. So there's that, trying to balance. And I remember one pastor, Pastor Stanley, would always say, your money is not your money. It's for you and your family. Your children, your spouse have shares in that money. So I believe I might have taken some money which was earmarked for other things and put it in my company, because when I started, I had to register the company, do a logo, all those things, they cost money.
Yeah, they cost money.
So,
Oh, wow.
so it's that, yeah, but these are the challenges which I can mention. But the positives actually outweigh.
They outweigh.
They outweigh any of the challenges, I promise.
So if you want to be an author, yeah, you just have to persevere.
You have to, and you have to
find the
invest. I think today at church they were talking about the three things that the offering message. You need to invest, you need to tithe, and then the other is for your upkeep.
The little insects.
And they said if you don't invest, so it's for your future, yeah, you find yourself old and you don't have. So like me, I always imagine after I leave my career in the corporate space, I know I'm going to be doing my books.
Your books, and you've got your publishing company.
And I've got my company. And I know other things will fall into place. Like one person once mentioned, you could easily be in education. I would love to be in the education space. I wouldn't even mind being an English lecturer somewhere.
You see, you could fit in so many places.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A consultant of a sort.
Yes. Right? I could be a business consultant. I could be a literacy consultant. Yeah.
And that leads me to what I actually wanted to say. Tell us, Audrey, the other things you do, coaching, emceeing, and so forth. What else do you do besides your full-time job and besides writing and publishing? What else do you do?
Okay, so I do speak at some events.
Like people can hire you if
yes,
they want
people can hire me to speak.
Or to facilitate.
To speak. Though there are some subjects, it's amazing. You have subjects that you're very uncomfortable with. Like I remember the one time, gender issues, gender-based violence and all that. I always feel I'm not qualified enough to speak about that.
Oh, you mean to actually go as a speaker?
Yes,
okay.
on those
topics.
Subjects, yes. But if you ask me to speak about books and business, that one I can do it because it's what I do. But I've spoken on other subjects, but God gives you the grace to do that because you go there. And someone was saying, let me also just encourage someone. You see people speaking on stage, public speaking is the number one thing that people are afraid of.
I didn't know that, hey, because I thought it was just maybe a certain group of people, but it seems quite common.
It's if you Google it, you'll find it there. Really? It's actually a fact. But then what happens, like I remember when I started facilitating a church, they were just like, can you help us? And then from there,
how it began,
and I was scared, your heart will just, and you're like, oh my gosh.
But people can't see, but you're scared.
But then you pray, you pray before you do something, right? Mm-hmm. You pray and you say, God, give me the ability. So where you stop, where your confidence stops, God will just take you through. So usually it's up to a certain point. I can't even say the first 10 seconds because it's different with each event. But I know that the minute you put yourself out there, God just carries you through that. So I do the speaking, the facilitating,
the emceeing, weddings, whatever, different things.
Yes.
So but there you are, guys. You can hire her.
I was even an MC for a bridal shower the one time. I was like, oh my God.
That must have been fun.
No, but it's people who know you. They're just like, we know you can do it. And I've done that. I've done the TV book reviews that I've done that. I've been on TV, I think all of the stations in this country.
I can tell you're very comfortable talking. You're very easygoing on TV in front of a camera.
And then I did the coaching, ICMF, they've got this program that they do. I did the coaching and I graduated. I actually did a proper graduation with my green cap and green gown. And I won.
That life coaching? What is that?
It's life coaching.
Okay.
Yes.
And you won?
Yeah, I won the Publishing Coach of the Year.
Okay.
So in my case, I took that and I just decided to center on the publishing.
But you can actually sit down and talk to someone and help them and guide them.
I can, but can I just be honest? I really shy away from that. But people just come. I mean,
for advice and things. That's already informal coaching.
I know, and even counseling. Some of the issues I'm told, and every time I'm like,
counseling as
no. So I'll be like, it's a very funny one. I'll be even at work. I can be in the bathroom with someone with a problem. So every time when I don't have anything to say, because most of the time I don't have to. I don't have anything to say. I'll be like, I'll be like. I listen, then I say, let's pray.
I like that.
And then we pray. Because honestly, when you don't know, with counseling, I've since learned you're not supposed to, like how people...
have all the answers.
Yes, how you tell someone a problem and say, for example, I'm so broke, I don't have money. Someone will be like, You're not the only one. Things are hard. Everything is tight.
Then they'll be like, why did I even go to this?
You know, so I remember our pastor the one time was saying, you need to, when someone tells you something, it's either a touch, a look, a word, you know.
I like that. Yeah.
It can be even $1. Some of these things, they want practical solutions. Someone doesn't have bus fare. So even if you pray for them, you know, they want $1
What's $1?
So you just, I think the praying for
wisdom.
me, praying for me leads me to wisdom thereafter.
Yeah.
So I do that too. What else do I do? Yeah, then besides then like I said, I'm a mom to my 3 beautiful girls. And can I tell you something? One of them, the last one, she wrote a book.
Oh, wow.
I'm still to publish
and you've
it.
got to publish this, Chances Publishing.
She wrote it like a year and a half ago. It's actually on me.
So, Mom, why aren't you publishing it? Do you have to edit it? What do you have to do?
I have to edit it. So I was scared. I came
Are you
back.
the best person to edit your child's book?
My other daughter's going to do it. The other one with the media degree.
Okay.
And then the other one also, all of them now they're all involved in the
and they
business.
can also be written that you know, somewhere acknowledgement.
I actually always put a name. I always do that. They're all involved in the business. The middle child, Matipa, she's all about money. We call her the FD, finance director. Then Atricia is like the creative director, and she's got a degree for that. So this one is now the writer in the family. So when I told them, I got back home and she, you know, I always give them notebooks, all of my kids. She would write on a page and she would draw the picture on the side. She knows what an illustration is.
Wow.
Come on, this one was born, you know, part of my journey. She's part of it. Yeah. And I always go with her to functions. She even knows how to take pictures. Yeah, she did her whole book, but then I was scared to put her out there because she was in grade 1. Then she's now in grade 3.
Grade 3.
And then the other kids were like, come on, this is the right in the family.
This is the year 2026 to
put the book out there. So we're scheduling it to come out in November.
Yes, that's nice.
It's going to come out.
Right before Christmas.
Yeah.
People can buy some for Christmas presents.
It's her birthday month. So I'm going to...
Oh, yeah.
And this one, she's relentless. Every month she'll be asking, when is my book coming?
There you go, Mom.
Yeah.
This is the year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, Audrey, I think we've come to the end, but I want to ask you, there's so many people, I know so many people, you must know a lot of people who say, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. So many people out there. What can you give as a take-home message for people out there who would like to be authors?
So,
and then anything else you want to add after that, just to encourage people?
Okay, so what I'll say is even when I was doing the book reviews, I'll always say this, because I read so many books from different people. There's a nurse who can write a book. One other person was a mechanic, then became a pastor, and he wrote a book. Yeah. So I think every one of us has a book inside of them. That's number one.
Oh, I like that.
Every one of us. And it's part of your testimony. You know, we need to testify what the Lord would have done for us, yeah? So you can put it in a book. And some people say, but I can't write. They're ghost writers. I'm a ghost writer. If you give me your audios and your notes, I can write for you, and then you can put your name there. I've actually done it before for someone. Everyone has a book. Everyone has a story to tell. Whether you're a pilot, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a helper, you've got a story. So you start there with your writing. There. And start with what you know. And then I like this other famous quote by Toni Morrison, which says, if there's a book out there which you haven't seen, okay, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
If there's a book that you want to read and you haven't seen, go and write it yourself.
Wow.
Just like when I wrote my book, when I look at the genre that I write, there's a few people who write that kind of genre, but they're there. And it's because they wanted to read those kind of books. They want something modern, something trendy, but they also want something decent. They want to see a word here, a verse here from the Bible, you know, that kind of thing. It's there. So you can write about agriculture, you can write about chicken farming, I don't know.
I like what you said there, start from where you know, what you know.
Start with what you know.
Or the context that you know.
Yes, and you can always evolve. That's why I was sharing about, I've done poetry, and just try, you know. People are scared. I said, I was scared. And I remain kind of scared. Like right now, as a closing, I'm working on my first non-fiction book.
Oh.
And it's coming out in June.
We can't wait.
So obviously it's non-fiction. I'm trying to say something, but it comes in a memoir style. So I write a bit about my life. And most of the teachings from that book come from my late dad.
Okay.
Because he was so instrumental to who I am today. And at some point, he was my primary parent.
Okay.
So a lot of the things, you know, some people, like I remember in boarding school, people were like, oh, my mom. For me, it would be my dad.
Pretty unusual. Yeah.
Very unusual. So I think that's all I can say. And then last parting shots, you know what? Everyone has a talent. There's even the parable in the Bible about talents. If you don't use that talent, my sister, my brother, it might be taken and given to someone else.
That's a scary thought.
Just use it. Some people do music. Some people do sport. Some people are just astute businessmen, you know, out there. Just find something, a purpose, a passion, and just follow through with it. And that thing should then leave a legacy. Like we're encouraged in the Bible, you need to leave a legacy for your children's children. A wise man, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. You're not just existing or living, but there's a purpose. You can find it at some stage if you search hard enough and you stay connected to God.
Amen.
Wow. Well, there's so much in there. I can say, honestly, you're a powerhouse. There's so many facets there that were coming out. Thank you for making the time, Audrey.
Thank you for having me on the show, Tsungi. And I see your work all the time. You're doing amazing. May the Lord keep on enlarging your territory. Who knows? We could have a channel, a TV channel one day.
Yeah. You never know. Thank you so much, Audrey, and God bless you. I wish you well with all your endeavors and all your plans, and with your book that's coming out in June. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please make sure to share this video for those who may not have had the opportunity to watch. Remember to like and to comment, and we want you to be part of the family. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Till next time, bye-bye.